Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here, this time reviewing on Monsters vs. Aliens. Now, as you know, Monsters vs. Aliens was a 2009 computer animated science fiction comedy film that was done by the same team, DreamWorks, known for doing things like Shrek, Prince of Egypt, Road to El Dorado, and Megamind, and was meant to sort of kick off the whole 3D thing and kind of bring back the old 1950s monster movie nostalgia. Now, the premise of the film is meant to follow Susan Murphy, who mainly lives in Modesto, California, and is going to be married to her fiance Derek Deedle, who is played by Paul Rudd. And Derek's character is that he's meant to be this big shot. He's meant to kind of come across like he believes he's the center of attention. And he openly thinks that Susan is going to be up for things, even though it's more for himself. Like, sort of posting their trip from Paris to go to Fresno for an interview, and he thinks Susan's going to be up for it. And you can kind of tell Susan wants to admit it, that she's angry, but tries to be supportive. And throughout the movie, we see how Susan gets hit by a meteor, ends up becoming 50 foot, as a reference to the 50-foot giant, and ends up being captured by the military and meets other monsters at where they're being held. We're introduced to Bob, who is kind of the dumb idiot, the missing link who acts like the big macho tough guy, and Dr. Cockroach PD. And kind of throughout it, we see how Susan goes through this journey to accept who she is, as well as realizing that her relationship with Derek wasn't a real thing. It was him putting himself beyond other things. And throughout it, we see how Susan gets to know the other monsters, like Insectosaurus, Bob, Dr. Cockroach, and Missing Link. And throughout it, they are band together by the military after dealing with an alien probe, as well as dealing with the main villain, Galaxar. Now, Galaxar's character, who is voiced by Rainn Wilson, known for playing Lex Luthor in the DC animated movie universe, animated movies, is basically after the Quantonium in Susan. And Galaxar isn't really a great villain. I feel Galaxar is just thrown in to kind of be the villain, to kind of go against the characters, and really doesn't do as much. And I would say the film itself is more about Susan's journey, mostly from her slowly realizing that her relationship with Derek wasn't a real thing. And we kind of see how Susan goes from battling a giant robot and her thinking that Derek is going to help her, even though it's not. And this is her journey, her quest, as well as her adventure, to realize that she's the bigger person. She doesn't need a toxic person in her relationship. And throughout the movie, we do see how the monsters want to be accepted and approved of, which does work. And I would say some of them are thrown in, and there would have been some interesting ideas, like having Missing Link unsure about being part of the team after feeling useless in their first fight. You even could have had it that Dr. Cockroach admits to Susan he wants to be human as well, but has accepted who he is. And I do sort of agree with the YouTube channel PD Matka that it is a little wasted potential, but it still does what it's meant to. And I also do feel as well, when you are sort of introduced to the other characters at the start in Susan's family, it does feel a little rushed, But again, when you kind of got a film script to do, it's just trying to throw whatever's inside. And I also know that Monsters vs. Aliens did had TV movies, like Pumpkins from Outer Space and all that, and even a TV series that didn't basically get off the ground and ended after its first season. And I would say Derek does work as a character because, unlike Hal, who is meant to be self-aware, Derek, I feel, wants to be accepted. He feels like he has everything handed to him and feels like people are going to be up for things, like thinking Susan's going to be up for going to Fresno, even though it's clear this is more for himself. And as soon as Derek tells Susan how he feels, it's clear he doesn't want to feel small. And that does work. And I think by the end of it, Monsters vs. Aliens is a bit of a hit and miss. It is a little wasted, but it is enjoyable. So I think it deserves a thumbs up. Still good, and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.